Jarvis. Open the mask. Hey guys, Will here. Today I'm going to be reviewing utility knives. Stay tuned. Welcome to utility knives, the world of utility knives, and they're quite, I think they're gaining traction and more popular now, and they've been pretty popular I think in the past, but there's definitely a lot of designs out there. So this is about talking about just different designs that I own, and I only own a fraction. There's so much out there. I'm gonna shout out this guy that I always shout out, Lin Wood on IG. This guy has an immense collection of utility knives and even stuff he hasn't even shown out there. So there's just so much out there, and it's a fun world. It's a fun world and a very useful world as well, because it's still a tool knife that you can use. Its attractiveness of it is that you can just toss the blades. You don't have to get into the whole science and methodology of sharpening knives, and you just don't have to think about the different blade type. You're just using very simple blade steel that can easily be resharpened if you wanted to, or if you didn't want to, you can just toss them and just buy extra blades, and the extra blades just cost like maybe 15 cents. They're not that expensive. So there's a lot of attractiveness to it, and as well as that the knife blade itself, the utility blade, can be removed, and what that offers the user is ability to travel or use the knife in a security risk or some kind of sensitive area. So you have that option to keep your knife and not lose it, essentially because of security, right? So there's a lot of attractiveness to this thing, and I find myself using utility knives more than regular knives now, which is crazy. It can never replace a hard use knife, but which I think cold steel is probably one of the better ones for hard use. Don't have to worry about the sticker, like going through stickers and packaging and getting all gunk and just toss a blade. Don't have to worry about running through staples, nails in packaging, or like this whatever crates, whatever you have to deal with. Don't have to worry about resharpening a hard to sharpen super steel like an M390 or equivalent after you ran through abrasive materials or carpet. Don't have to worry about like aesthetically ruining some of your EDC, which is like, some people might think it's a cop out. Yeah, it's true, because you buy a knife and you don't actually use it, you actually save it, which is, everyone has their own reason for knife collecting or knife using, right? Okay, I think the introduction is over, and then we'll go through these different brands and the plus and minuses of them, the pros and cons, and maybe what category they lie within. And yeah, let's get started. This is in no particular order, so I'll start with this one from left to right. This one is a Kinetic Custom, a UK brand that's basically making a high quality version of a Milwaukee something, maybe Fastback or something. I forget what particular utility blade out there. So we basically have the same design as someone who would hard use a utility blade, push a button right here, and releases and attack. I put this gold blade in it, but for the looks, but you can have any other blade. But yeah, not expensive, and not expensive due to customization, and so I put Stark Industry because I love the red and gold combo. It's very Iron Man style. And then let's see, aluminum that's anodized. It looks like they did a really good job. And we have brass here and some steel. I would say what I don't like, I guess, is I would prefer not to have Phillips screws, maybe Torx screws, but it's definitely not a deal killer. And this is definitely a lot more beautiful than having a Milwaukee. But I would say also, if you don't care about looks or EDC, you're just trying to get the job done, just get a Milwaukee, right? So this one costs, what was the cost of this? 70 US? Maybe you think it's expensive for aluminum? I don't think so. We have a spring style of a belt clip from the top. Not my favorite like this, but it's just basically emulating the original Milwaukee design. and so it must have a reason why. This must be easier for people to carry it. No way to deploy it but gravity, and to close it, but really good quality and actions. Superb. Yeah, so great job, our bros over the seas, over the pond, British bros. Recommended. Yeah, for me, I'm buying for style, obviously. I think someone who's in the trade, you're doing some carpentry and other type of carpet or whatever, cutting drywall and stuff like that, I think you should invest in something like this. Kind of much cooler, unless you think someone's gonna steal it. When I push this, I can feel no blade play. The button's right here. It is spring here. This is spring here. You press the spring and then you can remove it. So no tools required to install or remove the blade, which makes this a travel knife. You can travel with this, take out the blade, you can go on a plane, right? Blade exposure looks good. It's a lot of the meat is out there, which is nice. Blade compatibility, it's also good. I think it takes all of it. Let's see, what do I have? All right, might as well show this carbide. So this is a, let's see, this is just one that came with one of my custom, came with this one. So here's a Stanley carbide, and does it fit inside? Yeah, it does fit. This one's a little bit chunkier. It does fit, and oof, it's a tight fit though. Maybe with the first notch, so yeah, it's snapping in there. So this Stanley carbide, I guess it's probably not recommended if you like to use this one. This style is kind of bigger and it's bigger. That's why it doesn't fit in a lot of blades. This one it's got a pretty good rating on, what's that guy? There's a guy who does like YouTube ratings, and this one scored pretty well. I don't recommend this blade at all. I recommend people to get Tajimas. I think these are a lot better. These are one of the best because they're kind of like Stanley style. They're super sharp from the box, and they have this black coating on top of it, which means that you don't have to worry about rust issues if you're in a corrosion area. So let's say for this one, it doesn't do that well with this. It can kind of barely fit. For this one, use Stanley blades or equivalent, which are, you know, just the standard. They're basically standard utility blades. So this one we're looking at 125 grams. Definitely not light compared to these other small, more EDCable ones. But this one is you're buying it because the ergo is great. Oh my god, does it feel great? Your finger just goes in here. What you don't have, I guess, actually what you do have is you can also choke up. I can feel here, not much movement. You can choke up if you want. You can pinch. Yeah, you can choke up. So this is superiorly the most useful, and I think it's quite beautiful. But yeah, it's much more bigger than a other type of knife. So let's just move on because there's so much to review. Okay, next, Compoform. Shoot, I should have done this review. This knife is probably like 4 years old at this point. This guy, Russian guy, if I recall correctly, Compoform, is IJ's Walrus 76 or something like that. This guy no longer makes utility blades or knives. He started with that and had a mixture of Fidget, but actually Fidget becomes really popular, like magnets, etc. And so as you can see, the DNA of this and Fidgets, it's utilizing magnets. You have a magnet slider you have here, so it's actually super simple to reload and to use. The problem with that is that, you know, you can't poke into anything. If you poke into anything, it'll just collapse, right? And then also your fingers touches here, so you can have corrosion on the blade from your finger oils and acids. But so this is more of a art knife. As you can see, there's a lot of great milling work, and this, what is it, titanium gold coating or something like that. Very beautiful knife. I mean, this guy makes cool Fidget like poppers or whatever sliders, and that's his attraction now, and that's basically the big business. People buy Fidget toys and they don't have uses for it. 35 grams, very light, titanium. Yeah, so pull it out, easy. You can imagine how easy it is to reload. Also travel friendly. So this as a user, no one's gonna use this as a user. This is for someone who's gonna cut plastic, cut their bag of chips, cut packages, not cut abrasives, not carpets or anything like that, right? I think we get the drill. Who knows? Oh man, so awesome. Too bad he doesn't make stuff like this anymore, but he goes with the demand. People just don't want it. Where should we go next? Twosun. Actually, this Twosun, I did a review of this a long time ago, and I think back in the day I was saying this is a two-hander, but actually I learned that it's a one-hander. You can just push the button and slide it with one hand and click in. So it's a push button lock. You're looking at titanium. You have all this multi functions with it, but I would say these functions are kind of stupid and probably most people won't use it. Bottle cap, sockets, a couple sockets, a nail puller. It's not that thin here. Screwdriver, who's going to use this? Maybe one time you'll use it and it'll strip it. These are just for emergencies. Actually find out that one of these screws backed out a little bit, so you have to keep in mind about the construction if you Loctite it. But I would regard this as a hard work knife because it's quite ugly, but this style of push button lock is actually very sturdy. Once this thing is locked in, the blade is going nowhere and you can do it, and it gives you so much confidence when you use a utility knife like this. Ergonomics is okay. There's definitely a hot spot here. If you're wearing gloves, I guess it wouldn't matter, but yeah, hard work pushing in, it wouldn't back in, side to side, wouldn't extract or anything. You can hold it this way, and I see that some people talk about they like to hold it like a pinch grip, so I think that's someone who needs to get closer to their work, don't want their knuckles in the way, so you're doing more like this method for cardboard, but I guess if you do more delicate work, you will do a pinch, because sometimes maybe if you have another design, a pinch design will unlock it or make it unstable. So yeah, this thing is ugly. I forgot to tell the price of this one. I don't even remember anymore. It's like 200 something. It doesn't matter because you can't buy it. But this one is this one runs around 30 bucks. Not that expensive. I think they're around 30 bucks now. I mean, I see that they're still available. So if you're looking for hard use, still one-handed opening, still travel friendly, I recommend this, even though it's so ugly and like these are probably not that useful, these extra stuff. Kind of style of lock makes it actually a very confident, inspiring utility knife. Hey, that's Twosun. Just quickly weigh this. 37. Okay, yeah. Let's go with the RUK. I did the RUK before. This Giltek has many different designs now. They even have monoblock designs similar to Snex, and this next steel, Giltek's design at the beginning. I don't know. The knife world is kind of like that, where there's just a lot of inspiring or borrowing of ideas, because I think they started the first lock bar. So I always give credit to, I think, Giltek. They kind of launched the whole modern day view of a utility knife, a EDC modern utility knife. I think they did, unless, no, I guess you could say RUT, the Rexfield, they also are part of that. So, and then some people argue that there have always been in hardware stores like stainless steel design kind of smaller pocketable utility carriers, but I would say this is like the inception of the modern day version. So what we have is a lock bar, very flat titanium construction, and these are all with the blades in it also. Ooh, much lighter. 28. Nice. I think when you get into this range, they all kind of feel the same with the titanium construction, or aluminum, depends which one. And so I don't think those several grams are going to matter. I think when you get up to like, you're looking at like 5 to 10 ounces, it really makes a huge difference. So we have tools like bottle opener. We have a little kind of fishing line cutter, so they explode the blade without deploying, which is cool, a little safety feature. Little pry bar, right? And you have the tool bit you can put in there, right? So super useful. I actually used this before when installing a shelf in a tiny little bathroom area, which I had to assemble the shelf around the toilet. Otherwise it wouldn't fit around the toilet, but that was cool to use this because I couldn't get really into the back of it. So yeah, super useful. Titanium, this is a two-piece construction that slides in and sandwich and slides, and that's how it locks. These extra little plastic pieces just basically keeps it from sliding off to unlock it. Push down, pushes against the thing. First notch that it goes into, second notch, so you kind of have two different positions. The great thing about this is that it has this plastic thing in which actually saves the blade, as you have the other ones that may touch. So if you have another blade, maybe this edge touches here. So if you're really conscious about keeping it hair popping, and you can get utility blades hair popping, all you have to do is strop them. You get them from stock and strop them on some green compound, some leather material. You can get them, it can pop hair. So this design is better for saving the edge. So you can, if you find value in that. So nice, very cool, lightweight design, very thin. Check out the other stuff. They have monoblock designs now. So if you're not interested in like this kind of style and you just want a one piece, it's great. This is like marine use. This whole thing can be dunked in like salt water if you think about it, because titanium is like corrosion resistant and that's just plastic. In contrast, this has a spring in it and you got stainless steel screws. So this you cannot submerge in salt water if you want, you know, so this wouldn't be as good for a fisherman. Moving on, hull position. This is aluminum. They actually make titanium ones, and this is probably the lightest. I can actually feel this is lighter, which contradict my previous statement saying that you can't feel the difference. Let's see, 25, yeah. So 25 with the blade. This is super light hull precision, HP, and there's my iPhone. This is actually, I bought this because it's just a raw. They don't run this through a tumbler or anything or anodize it, so it's kind of cool to see the tooling marks. I think that adds a bit of artistic look to it. We have a spring-loaded design. When spring-loaded means that you're not going to use this in salt water, right? And so, or you can argue that this could get gunked up. I don't know. It depends on, really depend on your use case, but you have so many different selections. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think naturally the motion of your hand, you will go into the second one. That's the extension. But if you wanted to, you can just go into the next one and like, wow, look at that blade exposure a lot. So this is quite good by the way they designed it. Or you can do as little as this, so that can open a chips bag or cut a string. You don't want to stab someone, so you have really a nice control. And what I feel on this is that it really feels like glass. I don't know how to describe it, but this thing feels like glass, and their precision is so good that there's no gaps. I can feel, so as a hard use, you could hard use this, I think. I'm just not sure how well that pin survives, but maybe you'll say this, it can't be hard use, but I'll say that you can jam this in. It has a lot of stability there, and it has a lot of stability here, just because there's barely any room there. And because there's barely any room, and they do so much precision, that this has a con, and that con is that it cannot take a carbide blade. So as I put this in, this is how it comes out, and just like that, super easy, very you're able to travel with it. Does it go in? It goes in. Oh, yeah, this is what I remember. Goes in, actually fits in, but because this blade is a little bit longer, I actually can catch the meat on here. I can't feel it if I run my nail through it. It's still behind this edge, but if I put my meat, which my meat can stick out a little bit, I actually can catch the tip. So actually, this thing is not compatible, in my opinion, with any kind of blade that's not traditional standard size. Let me put this back in. So yeah, stick to Tajima's, stick to Stanley, maybe Lennox. You just don't want to go off on size. You don't want to go thicker or longer. So this is slightly longer and it's thicker. So yeah, not compatible with that. But with this, you can't catch the finger. So I mean, he's basically machined this to the very edge, and yeah, that can be a con. Or not, so it's just up to you to decide. So hotspot, as you're using this thing, let's see, hotspots right here. I might actually Dremel this off because this is aluminum. I can't imagine this surviving that much, but I think a lot of times, a lot of these functions are kind of like emergency use. Almost like you would say, you wouldn't use a multi-tool for sure on a project. You would use the actual tool, but sometimes you just don't have the option, or you don't have the right tool with you. That's why multi-tools are great for that, and that this is having that kind of backup option with this. But yeah, this is definitely a hotspot. I can feel it. Bottle opener. Yeah, so that's the length of what utility you get with it. But yeah, this is, what did I pay for this? It's been a while. It's like 30 or 40 bucks. It's aluminum, so it's not that expensive, but they have titanium versions, and yeah, the quality is great. This feels great sliding. It literally feels like you have two glass pieces going, so the sensation you get while using this is awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely going to Dremel that off. Beautiful knife, travel friendly, all that good stuff. Okay, this is a Pichi Clone or Pichi inspired utility knife, which I saw it started from one of those Indiegogo or Kickstarter or something like that, which is a titanium clamp style slider like this. So this one's super cheap, found on Aliexpress for about, I think about 30 USD, very cheap for titanium. So what you have is 3 different selections that you can do. This is not exactly like the original Pichi design, because from what I heard from someone else, that there's actually a spring in the original that you will push against and then close. But one can argue because this doesn't have a spring, it's more marine friendly, right? Compared to, would you say this is not marine friendly because of the spring in there. This one has no spring, so you can say it's marine friendly. Okay, so the action is this: slide it open, gravity drop, gravity drop. Is that fidget action? Fidget factor? Any good fidget factor to play around with? First position is lock, doesn't open. Okay, great. Second position is the fully unhinged one. As you can see, if you're looking here, there's a little CNC, the gap is there. This is bypass with that, and you can see nicely machined pockets for weight reduction, and that allows you to take out the carrier, the little sliding tray, and then you can take this out. Let's see, can this fit a standard carbide? This one is running a Tajima now. As you see, it can't fit. You see that how this is the Stanley Fat Boy or whatever it's called. It's you can tell that's slightly longer and everything. It just doesn't fit in the tray. So yeah, I feel like it almost doesn't matter because I mean it shows you that some of the other ones are widely compatible. They can fit the longer ones and thicker ones, but just like that Hall Position one. But although the Hall Position had the blade too close, but I tell you, just get a Tajima. Everyone loves it. Tajima V-Rex 2. Don't bother, or Stanley, whatever you can find in your hardware store. Just don't get those thick ones. They perform poorly. So that was the second notch to unlock it fully open, and then we have the unlock one. So this was actually meant for it to slide down, and I found it finicky. So let's see, I can actually fling it out more than that. So it's actually, it functions better if it can open a little bit wider, but so I find this function not as useful. In fact, I talked to a person who has the original one, and he says it doesn't need this one. You're better off with just two. There's actually quite a bit of this style of clamshell. I noticed there's other versions in which they just have a lock and unlock function. But yeah, Fidget is good. It has a locking feature, so it's actually quite stable, but I wouldn't recommend this for hard use because I tried using this hard use and my finger naturally goes up here. You can say it's hard use, but you have to remember not to choke up. When your finger goes here, I noticed that it starts getting that separation. I started flexing the blade out of the carrier. From here it's a little bit better, and you know, of course you can't push it in like that way, but yeah, this was, I wouldn't say it's a hard use, but you can hold it this way and you can pinch it this way without affecting the thing, right? And the other complaint was that if you're pinching it, say if you're pinching here and pinch drawing, if you accidentally pinch here, you might draw the blade because you're actually unlocking it. So that's what I mean about that. Some people might like they're sensitive about the pinch style that they like, but there's I guess there's a little bar you can pinch on if you had to pinch draw it. Okay, but yeah, this one I wouldn't say hard use. Maybe it would hold a lot of gunk in here. Maybe this wouldn't be good for marine use. Not sure, but blade compatibility, so it's less. What would you rate this? This is more of an EDC fidget device, but it's all one-handed. It's fun. It's $30. I think the shipping of the original was way too much overseas. That's why I didn't get the original. Otherwise, I would get the original one. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is the Jimpy design cutter, and this is actually very similar to Snex. They had their utility knife that was version 3 or something like that. I don't remember. It's like far off. It's almost exactly a copy or inspired. Let's just call it inspired, but they decided to utilize this much longer blade. So you have the style of I guess the most unique thing is that it takes this blade, which you can cut much longer materials, bigger, thicker materials. Like I think they're trying to advertise it as like big foam sheets or something like that. You can cut with this, but that's the con. This blade is harder to find. I had to buy it on Amazon and ship it overseas because I couldn't find this long blade locally. But the good thing is that it actually, by design, you can use a shorter blade and just leave this spot here empty. So yeah, you could just use a smaller blade, regular size utility blade, but I think that's what makes this one unique. So in order to deploy it, you're actually holding, it's more like you're holding it this way, pushing down and then sliding forward until it clicks in. So you have the notch there, and then you push it like this way, finger back here, and you're basically trying to create this separation here like that, and then you gravity drop it like that. So this is the same design as Snex, the newest one. I find that I like it just personally, I like to actually just gravity drop it open and gravity drop it closed. That's why I use this magnet here, just to keep it here. Prevents me from fully dropping it out. It'll stop here, and then but I actually bought another magnet to fit in the back, a little bit more aesthetic pleasing. But yeah, you can just put a magnet here and just be like, drop it out, drop it in. And because it has so much like tension here, it doesn't even need to fit into that notch. The notch is back over here, right? You don't even need to fit it into this notch because it still holds as long as you're holding it. As long as you're slicing this way, it actually still holds. So how is the stability? Oh, super rock solid, and I don't think, would it unlock if you pinch it? Yeah, it would. So you can't pinch grip this, because once I'm pinching it, I'm putting pressure here and then it starts separating and then it's loose again. Now, one of the good and bad things about this is everything is a compromise. So the bad thing about the Snex, they had a very small limited run of their very latest utility blades, is that it rattled, and then no one talks about this stuff. This is like one of those things that users don't talk about. But basically Snex, for for the better action, better play, they have less tension here. So it's more like this. And then this is how original snacks would sound, rattles. Now, some people you can discount that or dismiss it rather, because it'll be in your pocket. So who cares if it rattles? It won't rattle in your pocket. And then when you actually use it, there's less tension to push this forward. So as you see, when you're holding this, you're pushing it forward because your finger is acting as a guide. So when you're pushing here, you're actually doing this kind of motion. Now, if you put your finger back here, you're not separating here, and then it won't slide. So there's a specific learning curve. So you can't do this, but it's like this. Now I'm separating and sliding it. So yeah, it's quite a bit of pressure that you need to put, because the way this guy designed it, he doesn't want rattle. There's no rattle at all. So if you don't like that, you're okay with rattle, you can actually bend this more until you reach the action you want. So you have to either decide, do I want it to rattle or do I want better action, or do what I do, put a magnet here, or I'm going to get a magnet to go back here. It'll be a stopping point over here that you can just basically drop it, because every time you squeeze this, you take the tension out. So it's kind of cool. It's a little like lightsaber for me to activate. And so I like this one. This one is very quirky, but this is still, despite like it's longer, it's still light. It's just the materials are better. And of course, this style of monoblock design, just like all the previous Snacks design, it's super safe for all type of marine work, saltwater, anything, because it's just simple metal, a simple design. It makes it also great for traveling because it's very easy just to take the blade out and to put it back in. Really good. Actually, I have 3 utility knives coming in. Go check out the Ghost Tie guy. I don't remember the brand, but there's a guy on one of the backers, like Indiegogo, who has a style like this that has a built-in magnet to stop it from rattling. So essentially, it's a regular size snack style inspired with a magnet in it to prevent the rattling. And you can use the magnet also so that it can stick onto your fridge and stuff like that. So some people might like the magnet feature, but another thing to consider is that magnets attract metal shavings, and so maybe you don't want a magnet. Maybe it's best not to have a magnet if you have to deal with metal shavings in your work environment, or it's connected, you have it in the same pocket as your keys and it's all bunching up and creating a mess. Okay, moving along. Aliexpress special, yet another one. How long is this video so far? I'm just trying to go as fast as possible. Okay, this is Bali style, butterfly knife style, has a nice spring. I paid $30 for this. For titanium, it really shows you how cheap a knife should really be. You have a spring here, so squeeze tension, pop it open, and then the usual, do I have enough space to? Yeah, there we go. I have a bottle opener in this. Actually, it used to be a carpet cutter or something like that. I dremeled into a bottle opener because I don't want to get shot by police. It's illegal to have a butterfly knife, but when you take this out, it's no longer a butterfly knife. Woo! This is the advantage of a utility knife. Press this here, remove the tension, and then you can slide this out like that. Hey, I don't know if anyone's going to do hard work with this style of knife, but yeah, it holds it well despite its toolless design. There's no funky action. Unless you put your finger here and you're trying to choke up and you're trying to do funky action, you actually might unlock it like that way. So this is one of those not choke up style, but yeah, fidget fun, travel friendly. You can do all of it. You don't even have to put a knife in it, because even there's fake blades and stuff you can put inside these things. You don't even have to use as knives. I can feel this one's a bit heavier than the other ones. Zero it out. 78, yeah. So this one's actually heavier, as you can notice. This is like the size of 2 blades, quite thick. We have a bottle opener here. We have a screwdriver here, or pry, more like a screwdriver. Damn, this is cool. Brand, no name, good stuff. Aliexpress special, yet another one. I see different type of names like Saberwolf and other stuff like that. This one goes for, I guess, again, another. There's like a little pocket of price. This one should be around $35 or something like that. As usual, as every OTF is made out of aluminum, and I think there's something to do with that for the plate. It needs to be made out of aluminum. This actually I de-anodized, used to be gold, but action is great fidget. We also have a toolless design. As you notice, a lot of my stuff is toolless design because I refuse to buy something that takes a screw that will have to take out the blade, because I want all my utility knives to be travel knives. push this here, you can slide it out. This was actually my most used utility knife when I was moving. All my family members were using this for cutting boxes and cutting tapes open, because I guess it was just easy to use. Once you get over this scare threshold, because people kind of get scared when it goes boom, it scares you for casuals. So, but yeah, utility was good. Yeah, you're not gonna have really a choke up factor. There's a lot of wiggle, but like with all the other knives, I think only my Compoform will push in. These all can be stabbed into wood. They can be dragged. This can be obviously pinched, hold like this way with the grip, or can be pinched to draw. You won't, if you pull and snag something, it's gonna pull this thing, right? So there's definitely a bit of play when you use this. I would say this is more for, yeah, you can cut this into cardboard, because as you're going down, it's like this action. I had no problem with cardboard, but yeah, not close work, not artwork. Did anyone use artwork for utility blades? Probably not. There's better stuff out there. Fidget's super fun. Without the blade, it is super legal. With the blade, it is super illegal. Just like the butterfly knives. And this is definitely the biggest attraction of this utility knives, is that essentially you can have all the dream knives you wish you had as a kid. Okay, I saved the best for last, and that's this Rivery MFG Zero, and it looks like a fidget toy. And I bought my first fidget toy by Magnus, which will be coming in November or something. I don't know when, but yeah, this is a bad boy. And the reason I say that is because I would never think about buying a fidget toy, because they're useless. They have no other function other than just making noise and playing around with. But yeah, this is super fun. I kind of got it. Like, I was like, oh, I understand. Like, you're just walking around and just making noise and playing around with, give you something to play around with. But yeah, this thing is a knife. It's totally a OTF. It's not OTF knife. It's a kind of like a hybrid OTF. So it's made to slide this way, and as it's sliding, it's pushing the tray, the carrier, forward until it clicks. The tray is now clicked and locked in like a OTF normally does. And this is not spring loaded. This is sliding until the magnet catches it. Okay, so that's the action. Slide open. Oops, I unlocked it, and then it goes back. Pull it back, and it'll push this. It'll push the lock bar and unlock that. So forward, in, locking. So normally it goes forward, and it's not supposed to unlock. But in order to change, it's actually very complicated. This is actually, I carry this on one of my traveling trips, and I don't recommend it for traveling, actually, just because of the complication. But I still think it's the most innovative utility knife ever to be made, in my opinion, and that I would say it's the top utility knife out there. And because it's sliding, it's going to be hard to find this in titanium. It needs to be in a soft metal like aluminum or brass for the action. Cool. So how do you change the blade, right? The blade is stuck in there, and like pull it back. So how the hell do you, basically there's a little pin in there that you need to get down. There's different ways to do it. The original way is that you hold the blade, pull it back, then you can slide it forward like that. So pulling it back will knock this pin down, that pin stops it from opening anyway from this side. So now you have the blade. As you can see, that is compatible with bigger blades. Notice the extra space. So this is very compatible. I'm not sure if you wanted to use carbide. I still don't recommend this. One of the worst. Stick with Tajima, but the danger of this is all this complicated stuff can fall out. You gotta hold here, just like rotate it, and then slide it out. There's magnets holding it in. I had this stuff like all pop out, and I bent the spring and everything like that, and it's really hard to get this back in, get the spring in here. I would actually recommend people to, if you're actually disconnected and rebuilding this yourself, to maybe put a grease pocket in this so that it will actually hold it. It's kind of like a neat trick to hold a spring in. You put a grease in this end over there, and then just so it doesn't slide out. But yeah, this is how it works. Essentially, when you're closing the lid, it's pushing this bar. So see, pushing that bar up, and then the spring here is pulling it back like that. And because it's ramped, you notice the pin went up. That pin up is actually what's preventing the lid from coming off. So every time you push it forward, that lid is like right there. So what's happening is the lid is grabbing onto here, the pin is up, and it's essentially sliding this forward with the blade, and then watch as it locks. That's it. And this pin is also preventing the lid to go. That's why they say when you hold the blade and then you pull it back, you actually will ramp it and pull down the pin. Alternative, let's put this back on. There's alternative ways to get the lid off. So let's see, put this back on, and you can see here's the bar. That bar is what unlocks, slides into here. I want to give you guys a little like tips on this. So put this back. Now it's locked and then it won't come off. But because now you understand how it's built, put it in forward. You can like tap that pin down like this way to get it off. So just the momentum of tapping it. So some people might think, would you unlock it during hard use? I'm not sure. Probably by accident, I would say no. And I would say also don't bother greasing that spot. In fact, don't grease anything. That's my top tip. Here's another way to do it. Just keep knocking until it's off. Basically, you're knocking it until it's like pushing this down. It's kind of like rattling it down. They recommend you to grease, I mean, not grease, oil here, whatever. It's like here. It's basically all the moving mechanism. I tell you, don't grease and don't oil. Forget grease. Don't oil anything. Don't bother. I think you could put oil on the spring for corrosion resistance, maybe, but oil attracts dust and other stuff. I think you could put oil maybe under the tray, or maybe like where the blade sits if you're worried about corrosion. But I'm using Tajima, so I'm not worried about corrosion. Don't put oil on these. I'm telling you, this thing, like a lot of stuff, whenever you have sliders, they run better dry. It's best to use a dry lubricant. So no oil, no CKR, Katsu Knives paste, nothing like that. No PTFE. Use a pen. If anything, pencil lead. It's a nice dry lubricant. I say use nothing. This is aluminum, so it's soft metal to slide. So don't. Yeah, that's my top recommendation. When you put oil here, it'll prevent this from dropping. It just creates that kind of surface friction, like I guess like water or anything else. You just don't need. I think this part, it's not gonna wear out. Oil is a lubricant, so it doesn't help on the play at all. It ruins the play. Okay, so yeah, what does this fit under? Fidget factor is off the charts, and the design is off the chart, and the price is super reasonable at $60, $65. It's aluminum, but super reasonable. And I love the fact that the inside tray is red. That's like something straight from like Steve Jobs, playbook, in which you make the whole outside and inside internally beautiful. You don't shortcut it. I like that the inside is red. It's a really super interesting design. Okay, let's get the weight. This is definitely heavier because it's more metal, and then you have also 60. So it's heavier than normal, and it's also thicker than normal. There's a lanyard version. You might want a lanyard. I want this to look like a fidget toy, so I kept it nice and clean. I went with the wave. It's popular, that kind of Japanese wave style. Also has the function of this little thing, smart, makes you orient yourself, otherwise you don't know which side is the front end. Best place to put your finger for activating, I would say, is the middle. Some of the other design, they put the thumb gap or the resets here in the middle. Don't want to put it here. I think there's going to be more friction, or it's like uneven, or here, not necessarily. I think this is a sweet spot. And you can click it this way all day long if you're just bored and just want to use it as fidget. And even if you don't want to even put a blade in here, it can just be a fidget toy. So, okay. Just like OTF, OTFs are super, super strong because blade, it's like unless you snap that little bar, this thing's not going to go back. So this is super stable this way. How is it this way? It can move like that. Nothing. It's all fine. So what's the con? Con is, I guess, the complexity of it. That's why I don't recommend it for travel. You can say it's user error, because when I end up going on a high-speed train, I didn't take the blade out. I didn't pre-take the blade out. I realized I was right at the security already. I didn't want to look so suspicious taking the blade out. Actually, just put the blade somewhere else in my bag, and I got on the high-speed train with the knife, with this and the blade. But yeah, I fumbled taking this thing off, because you need to hold here and rotate. That's the best way, in my opinion. You don't have a lot of space to hold it, and then it wants to come off. Oh no, I just got spooked that it lifted. It's because basically you can't hold this part down, and there's magnets here. It wants to, when you pull this off, it wants to lift this slider off, and you just don't want the slider to lift off, otherwise you cause a problem. That's why I say it's not travel friendly, that aspect, unless you're not a fool like me. You can imagine the best travel like this. Imagine taking this out like this. All you have to do is push it to the side like that. It's foolproof. Drop it in, push the bar, and then it's loaded. It's super simple. All the other ones, these are simple to reload. This one is gone. Simple to reload. So that's travel friendly. Less likely for anything to go wrong in a mechanism. Just a lot less fun. So so I rank this as my top utility blade. Is there anything else to say more about this? Definitely not marine friendly because of the, yeah. Okay, let's go into the different categories. Is that everything? Let's go in categories. Hard work. Hard work equals choking, enables you to choke up. You can get leverage. It's ergonomically friendly. No magnets because of the metal dust. Blade compatibility. So let's see. I'm just trying to look through my stuff. Which one's a good hard work? This one. The problem with this one that someone's complaining is that if you pinch grip and you drag, you might pull it back that way. I never realized that. That's why I gotta watch everyone's reviews. I hold it like this way all the time, so I never had that feeling. Or I are just cutting like bag of chips, so I'm like down. I'm not down, which doesn't put the pressure, like it puts pressure this way, but I'm not dragging like this way. Maybe an artist, when we're looking for precision control, might drag and pull. Con? I'm thinking hard use is like super bulletproof. All right, I'm just gonna call it. That's these two. This one is obviously based off of a real, you know, Milwaukee. So this is super easy to deploy, super comfortable. You can choke up, you can do anything. You can even stuff the fat blade in there, although it doesn't fit that well, and I don't recommend it. Anyway, this one and this one, the push button, it's just offers so much stability, so easy to utilize, and I would say it's fairly comfortable the way it is, except for this point. But wearing gloves and you can pinch, you can do everything. This is these two, hard work. Let's go next category, travel. Travel equals toolless design. Well, that's basically everything. Oh no, toolless design and simpler. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. This one's simple. This is, in my opinion, it's too big. So I would say toolless. Toolless is like everything, but simple design. So this is simple. Would I consider this simple? Any of these? Okay, I'm gonna remove some. I'm gonna add another criteria for the travel. You don't want to spook the people, even though this doesn't have. If I remove the blade out, there might be some TSA guy or something who's be like, nah, this is too much like an OTF. I'm gonna remove that. They're gonna be like, this. I see bad guys using this in movies. You can't have that. That leaves these simple top. These don't use trays, so they're even at another level. Okay, so for traveling, I would say even these. And do I even take these out? No, I'll leave that. This is travel the best coup de grace, everything, because there's no tray. It's simple, blade in and body. So these are the best travel ones. And in addition to that, then these, I'm telling you, having these bottle openers allows you to have a reason, gives you a reason to explain what it is. Because if I explain to a person and I say, oh, this is a knife, but this knife is not in it, so therefore it's not a knife, they're like, what? So you're saying it's a knife? No, it's better if I just say, this is a bottle opener. This is a bottle opener. That's what I call it. It's a bottle opener. You can say that's a bottle opener. But these have sliding carriers, so that's the only reason I'm knocking it down. But all these can be travel. These are just even like one level up of travel, like perfection. Okay, now let's go to the next one. Artwork, choking up control, edge protection. Edge protection. Let's see. Everything that edge protects, that means the blade is not running on the inside. It's basically anything that has a carrier. The other one's too big. This one, you can't choke up that much, but the edge is definitely protected on that. I think any of these can be, well, you can't choke on this. Any of these are good for, if someone's using their utility knife for artwork, you want to slide it up, the edge is protected because it's never touching the housing, and then you can just pinch grip. Oh, this one will be out because that pinch grip. So sorry. Which way? Here's opening. Yeah, maybe the pinch grip will close it. Bye bye. Would this pinch grip close it too? I can argue with that. Oh shoot, are we down to one? Is this the only art-worthy knife? Hall precision? Because you can hold it like this way with precision, and you have the precision of all the different modes. You can make it very short, or you can cut something super long. If you're an artist, you're definitely doing like DIY into different woods and cardboard and styrofoam and making things. I think this one, wow, I can't believe I stripped that down to one. Edge protection, choke up control. Yeah, get out of here. Hall precision has that. Precision. Okay, marine. Corrosion resistance, no spring. String cutter is like an extra bonus. So corrosion resistance would be anything titanium and aluminum. That's everything. So I got to start taking those. This one has a spring. No. This one doesn't have a spring. This one has a spring. No. Because I think if you get any salt water in the spring, it will just eventually decompose. This one has a spring for the push button, even though it's hard use. Not recommended for all these pivot points and stainless steel. Stainless Stainless doesn't mean it doesn't stain or rust. It just means it's stain less or rust away. This one has way too many. Imagine getting salt water into all that gunk. Mechanisms. Note for you. Note for magnets. No mess. Oh, we're down. Simple designs. This one has stainless steel. Nope. Okay, it's kind of like these Giltek / Snex / Jimpy design / Ghost High and every other brand. No, Ghost High uses a magnet. Okay, Snex and Giltek, I guess they have the most simplest design. The blade, it's blade and then into the housing. So it doesn't protect this one actually protects the edge, but yeah, this is just gonna offer you can probably dunk this in salt water and just rinse it off if you use it for the rest of your life, no problem. Marine use, we're down to this, and this one has an extra, feature here where you can cut string or fishing line without even deploying and stabbing the captain by accident. So yeah, just an extra feature. This is the #1 marine use. Okay, let's go next. EDC. EDC equals lightweight, no magnet. No magnet? Oh, I'm saying no magnet because your keychain and stuff and other stuff will attach to. Small. EDC also may be style and like matching so EDC is definitely not this. This is more of a tool. So beautiful. Damn, look at that beauty. Come on. EDC small. Light. These are all small. Light. It's a bit heavy. These are a little bit heavier. Light. These are all light. Put them out here. Small. This is not small. Minus that. No magnets. Okay, I'm gonna put the magnet at the bottom. This is only magnet. Magnet attaches to other things. These are not magnets. But this one has a this one has a magnet to hold the blade. This one has a magnet hold, but it doesn't. This actually doesn't attract. As you can see, it doesn't attract metal. So it doesn't have that magnet function. Small in style, lightweight. Okay, any one of these. They're all lightweight. These are a little bit more heavier. So that's on the bottom. Yeah, any one of these. These are all great EDC style. All pocketable. Fit in your coin pocket. Great place to store a utility knife. I always love the idea of getting a full-size knife, pairing it with a utility beater. Okay, so any one of these are great utility. Next, fidget. Last one, fidget. Which one has the best fidget? None of these. With the magnet, yes. This no. This no. This one, we're down. That's it. Fidget. Which one has the best fidget? OTF. Oh, so fun. Can't tell you how fun that is. This is fun. So much fun. How about this? It's like Pac-Man. I'm losing my mind. How many minutes am I now? God, 1 hour. How much is 1 hour footage? How much am I gonna cut this out? This has this fidget, and I bet this will rust because my sticky fingers, my sticky acid fingers. But you can fidget that. You can take the blade out and still slide that and fidget around. This one with the magnet, this is a fidget, so it's asterisk. Brown. Star Wars style or whatever you want it to. It feels. This is fun to do. It's fun just to drop it and play. It's like a little pocket sword. You don't have to even take that much out. You can just be like, cut my bag or whatever, put it back in. That side's get dull, flip it around. Just like a lot of these, gets dull on the tip, flip them. Okay, fidget, that's it. All right, so that's all of it. That's the categories: hardware, travel, marine, EDC, and fidget. Fidget's kind of like toy factor. All the contenders out. These are my utility blades as of October 2024. I have 3 more coming, and make sure to subscribe to this channel if you like this, or share it if you like it, and check out Linwood. Linwood4 is his Instagram profile, or just type in Linwood. The guy has an insane collection, and that's only what you've seen. He has like a whole hidden collection. This guy needs to start a museum. But get into utility knives. They're so cool. They're so cool, and they're so cheap, right? And utility blades are so awesome. Oh my god, if I started all over again, would I even own knives anymore? I think I'm at the point where I'm just buying fancy dress style knives like Damascus and stuff like that nowadays, just for the beauty of it, just because I don't need. Look at this beauty. Oh god, rip Elijah Isham. Now I'm no longer buying utility style, because if I'm going outdoors, cold steel, Mora for bushcrafting, or Castron for bushcrafting, or whatever other ones, and just silky saw. I have a silky saw around here somewhere. Those are outdoor. Those are real use, not this bug out. This had its time as a lightweight. It started the whole lightweight craze, and it's very easy to use this thing, but I never use this knife anymore. Just don't need regular knives with utility knives. Let it be said, although you may not be worthy for a monarch such as myself, best subscribe. Yeah.